Welcome to this video tutorial. We are focusing on paper 1 and it's a bit of short question revision. And this tutorial aims to explore what the short questions are like, especially this 4-marker, what to look out for using summer 2019, paper 1, question number 1 with the mark scheme, student answer and examiner report feedback. So on paper 1, like paper 3, there are short questions and the first one is a 4-marker. And these questions will ask you to outline 2 on a 4-mark, and if it's a 6-mark, they'll ask you for 3 factors, reasons, ways, problems, etc. For example, outline 2 functions that the education system might perform. And you can prepare for these by asking your teacher for a question bank, writing your own for each topic, or preparing your own mark scheme. Alternatively, the Hectic Teacher's got plenty of sample questions for you to use, as has Steve Chapman on his website, Sociology Stuff. They have things for OCR also, and as well as the exam board website, AQA. Your answers should be short. For each point you are asked for, 1 or 2 sentences will be enough. Start each point on a separate line, and if you're not sure if all your points are right but can think of an extra one, make sure you pop that down. On these questions, you should be spending 1.5 minutes per mark, so that is approximately 6 minutes on question 1. However, you might answer these questions much quicker than this, which is perfect because you want extra planning time for those longer answers. So let's have a look at this first question. Now, my main advice is when looking at an exam question for the first time is not to panic. Take a deep breath and read it carefully. I suggest that you read the question once, then the second time underline the important trigger words or hooks in the question, and if required, a third time and do some small annotations surrounding this, and this will help you organise your thoughts. Now, the trigger word in this question is criticism and selecting pupils by ability. By focusing on the word pupils, you can identify social groups that may be disadvantaged by this school selection process being tested by ability. So if you look at the mark scheme, there are a range of criticisms that you can identify, such as the tests used might be culturally biased, there is a benefit to middle class students, problems of measuring ability, and so on. Now that will only earn you 1 mark, as you have to provide an explanation point to be awarded the 2nd mark. Now this explanation point is linked to explaining why it is a criticism or why some students, and identifying who they are and why they might be disadvantaged by it. And if you notice that they often refer to either middle class or working class or minority ethnic groups to explain those points. So here's an example of a student answer. The first is bullet point 5 on the mark scheme. Tests and examinations are culturally biased, and this student has mentioned that it favours the middle class habitus or middle class culture, and this disadvantages the working class because they don't achieve in the same way, so any tests or selections is going to disadvantage them. The second of how selection may disadvantage the working class is due to the lack of cultural or material capital. Now this is an inversion of bullet point 2 on the mark scheme. The bullet point 2 on the mark scheme actually reads, it benefits the middle class due to having resources such as tutors, but this student has done it the other way round and said that working class, they lack the cultural and material capital, which in effect results in being placed in a worse or a poorer school. It's the same criticism, but it's from a different angle, and it will be awarded. Now, something else that might be really useful to you to gain an insight to the past exam papers is looking at the examiner commentary. These are released after the exam and is a summary about how each question was answered in general, and you can gain that really valuable insight to what the examiner was looking for. They are available for all exams and accessible on AQA. And as you can see, the least successful students in answering this question failed to address the ability element of the question, making reference to schools choosing students and failing to reference a specific social group that may be disadvantaged, or they failed to gain marks because they repeated the points that they had already made. So again, really useful for you. Just have a quick read of that. It gives you a really good insight to what students did and what the best students did. So to continue your development, here's one question for you to have a go at. outline 2 criticisms of cultural deprivation theory. So have a look at your notes, your revision material, have a go, what do you think might appear on the mark scheme, time yourself for answering it, play the examiner, so swap it with one of your classmates and mark each other's answers, and have a go at that. There is a link to another video which is criticisms of the functionalist approach, and you might want to check that one out with a student answer. So just to summarise, when answering a 4-mark question, read the question at least twice before answering, highlight, underline, annotate just to organise your thoughts, start each new point on a new line, ensure you are given an identification point and an explanation which links to all the parts of the question, and practice by creating your own or using question banks provided by your teacher or the Hectic Teacher website, or even from Sociology Stuff or AQA. So massive thank you for watching, and there are links below to help you practice different questions. If you've got any queries or questions, please drop me a comment. Thank you. Bye bye.